I guarantee you, having only seen those little clips, this will be one of those movies that everybody's going to fall in love with. And nobody's going to be concerned about Bradley Cooper, brilliant actor, deciding to use prosthetic to make his nose longer. That's what method actors do. In particular, that's what his choice was as a method actor to use for him to be able to do justice to the character, to the brilliant conductor, composer, Leonard Bernstein. Hello, everyone. This is Mihaela with Art of Experiencing. I have been away for almost 3 months since the last episode. I think what happened was, to best describe it, it would probably be the saying, life is what happens to you while you're busy making plans. I think that's how the saying goes. And that's kind of pretty much what happened to me during the summer months. I had all these plans to travel to Egypt for a workshop, Jordan for another theatrical experience and to teach a workshop, Greece for vacation, Romania for a reunion with my college mates from 30 years ago. And none of that happened because life happened. When I say life happened, I mean my father, who's also a reverend father, Yuan Mihut. I think I've talked about him in some of my other episodes. He became very sick. And when that happened, every other plan that was to be the most important for my summer schedule fell to the side, because in those moments of surprises with illness of a dear one, of a loved one, will put everything else on the back burner. And my instinctual, organic thing to do was to jump on a plane and go be by my father's side and try to do everything that I could to get him to be better. 10 weeks later, many, many weeks in the hospital and out of the hospital, at home recovering, then back into the hospital. Now he's at home. He is doing so much better. Thank God. Knock on wood. I am back in New York from where my parents live, which is in Michigan, in a suburb of Michigan, where my father and my mom have been living for the last 40 years. And they built this beautiful Romanian Orthodox church with the community from there. My father retired about 2 years ago. And this summer, beginning of June, he, like I said, became very ill. A scary situation for anybody, as I'm sure a lot of you out there can relate. And if you don't relate, then you're lucky. My dad was very lucky not to have had any kind of medical issues for 80 years of his life until this summer. I am having a difficult time coming back to do this episode after not having done it, like I said, and having gone through such an extreme an overwhelming experience of fear of losing my father, of fear of not being able to do as much as I or should do to try to help and make him feel better. You find yourself in these situations and you think that you don't have the strength to be able to do all of the things that are coming your way. And then they come your way, and your strength somewhere deep inside of you that's probably covered by a lot of other stuff in your life when you don't have to do with such a difficult situation as having to deal with someone who's ill. There's a strength that we have as people. There's a strength that I discovered within myself that was brought up, and I was able to carry on with being there for my father for 10 weeks, like I said. Even now, when I think about it, I still have the fear of, am I going to be able to do all the things that I need to do to be of the most help that I can to him, and also to my mom, who's going through this difficult period in our family's life. And you come up with some force I did not even know that I had, to be able to not turn around and give up and say, I'm not capable of doing this. I don't understand how to be of help. You're there and you do it. Trying to focus on the positive, very small moments. One day he was better than the day before. All of these moments, all of these moment to moment experiences become so important, and you forget about the other things that you considered in your life to be the most important and you could not have done without. I didn't even think once about, I'm missing doing the weekly episode for the channel. I wish I was in Romania with my friends to celebrate the reunion. I wish I would have gone to Jordan. I wish. Those were so removed from being priorities that my only concern and my only goal was to be able to help my dad get better. And so far, he is doing much better. Thank God. Again, I'm even afraid to say that. I have to cross myself again, and I have to go to Doamne ajută. I'm coming back to New York, and I promised myself that I was going to try to get back into doing this episode. And I'm experiencing now a fear of doing it. What is my content? What am I going to talk about? Is it even important that I do an episode? In the back of my mind, I keep thinking right now, why am I even doing this? I'm still having to deal with what my dad is doing. I'm still having to be worried about him the same way that, anything can happen from day to day with any of us. He's much better now, but at any moment, I guess the whole ordeal with the medical situation that my father was in, and our stay in the hospital, I stayed with him for so long and experienced so many things with the medical system that I don't even want to get into right now. I'm still trying to figure out what is important for me to do right now, because my schedule, as I knew it, my conditioning of my habitual way of doing things. I'm teaching classes, doing my episode, I'm recording my episode, I'm trying to get an audience, I'm trying, all of those things got disrupted. So now I feel like I'm off. I don't even know what is the right thing to do. And I have a guilt that I'm feeling about, is this important for me to do right now? But then I had to get back to it because I feel like I have to get back into trying to go back to my life a little bit, because I started to get lost when it came to my individual understanding of what it is that I'm supposed to be doing and how do I get back into my life now that my dad doesn't need me to be there every day with him. And coming back is very difficult. No matter how much you think being in that situation is difficult, then coming back also is difficult because you have lost that routine, that we depend on so much. But at the end of the day, it's not something that makes you grow as a person. I just realized now the fact that, I mean, my God, I never would have wanted to learn the strength, a different kind of strength that I had in me, and I was able to tap into having to be able to be there for my father. I wish I would have never discovered that strength if it meant that my father was never sick. But due to the fact that my father was very sick, I was able to discover a strength within myself that now I'm bringing back into what I knew. And now I'm having to integrate that and try to see what it is that I want to do with my life. I don't even know if I want the same things. I don't even know if what I consider to be priority 3 months ago, in the beginning of the summer, when I had all those plans that all got canceled. I don't even know if those are still the priorities. I have no idea. So I'm dealing with that. And if I'm just rambling on, I apologize, but this is exactly what I'm going through right now. Let me know if you've experienced having to take care of someone and having the fear of not being enough or sufficient enough to be able to do and be there and have the strength to do everything that you can in your power to be there for that person. What got me to do this episode today was I was opening the computer this morning and I found the first video, which I'm subscribed to, and I love his work so much. The funny, intelligent Daniel Boland. He is, I think, one of the most entertaining. He's one of the smartest out there. He was talking about Bradley Cooper and Bradley Cooper's film that's due to come out in a couple of months, Maestro, which is Bradley Cooper interpreting the role of the great composer, conductor, Leonard Bernstein. He's directing the film. He co-wrote the script. He's starring in it. Daniel Boland was talking about the fact that there is a controversial story. Some people are having an issue with the fact that the actor, the beautiful, brilliant, extraordinary actor Bradley Cooper, is choosing for the role of Leonard Bernstein to enlarge his nose to better portray Leonard Bernstein. There are people out there who are considering this to be something that is negative. I don't even understand, because my mind right now, as I'm telling you, cannot even comprehend how that issue can be an issue of discussion. How some people are commenting about Bradley Cooper making that choice is to be incorrect, is to be something that's negative due to the fact that Leonard Bernstein is Jewish, Bradley Cooper is not Jewish. So him portraying a Jewish person and then choosing to physically add to his nose to make it bigger is such a controversial action for him to take. What is the world coming to? Seriously, those people out there who are having this issue or who are questioning why Bradley Cooper, a non-Jewish person, is interpreting a Jewish composer and conductor and author, and why isn't a Jewish actor who already has a big nose, so he doesn't have to use a prosthetic, a fake nose, why isn't a Jewish actor portraying Leonard Bernstein? Is just so crazy. The most important thing in acting, the most important thing for the character, for the real life character, is to have an actor of Bradley Cooper's caliber to be able to bring humanity, to be able to bring emotional journey, psychological details, to be able to bring his artistry and merge it with the artistry of the artist Leonard Bernstein and do justice to what Leonard Bernstein was. Do justice to his memory. It's not about let's be politically correct and let's hire a Jewish person who might happen to have a big nose or not, because he's Jewish and Leonard Bernstein was Jewish. Where are these comments coming from? It takes me back to people not understanding what acting is. As you know, this channel is it's most importantly about me trying to get across to people who are considering themselves to know acting and are experts talking about acting, and they do not know what acting is. It is not about portraying a character that an actor is the closest to, that will do justice to that character. What will do justice to that character is an actor who is as extraordinary, who knows method work as Bradley Cooper knows, because we have seen him do A Star is Born, Sniper. I can't think of all of them, where he's already showing his acting capacity. He's already showing his humanity as an artist. I already know from the trailer of the movie Maestro that's going to come out in a couple of months that he will be nominated. There are going to be nominations for Oscars. There are going to be nominations for all the other awards that you can think of. He's directing it. He's, I believe, co-writing the script. He's starring in it with Carey Mulligan, who plays his wife, Felicia. Some of the clips that I've been able to watch that were released from the trailer, I'm already predicting. I'm ready to make a bet with you out there. Let me know if you guys want to make a bet, not for a lot of money, but just $5 or so, that he and this movie will be one of the most nominated films to come out. I always mention Bradley Cooper. The reason why I mention him is because I went to school with him, but he was invited on Inside the Actor Studio with James Lipton many years ago. The reason why he was one of the guests is because we both and our colleagues, we all went to the MFA program at the Actor Studio 20 some years ago. We were in the same class. He was invited back to Inside the Actor Studio with the late James Lipton to be interviewed. he was received with such a welcome because he graduated from that very program that James Lipton was part of creating. Bradley Cooper, the way that I knew him, he was one of the kindest, he was one of the most generous people. No matter that he looked like a movie star from the very first day I met him, I remember he was standing outside the building of our school on our first day when I went there. And I was walking, I was across the street. I was new to New York, scared, had gotten accepted to this program, which I couldn't even believe that I was accepted. Went to the first day, and I remember looking over to the building, looking for the address. At that time, there were no phones, there was no GPS. So I remember I had like everything map written down on a piece of paper. And as I was looking across the street and saw the number of the school, the building, the physical building, I saw a lot of students going in and out, but there was a particular person that was kind of leaning against the building, if I'm not mistaken. This is like my recollection of that memory. And I just saw him. Out of so many people going in and out, I just saw him, not even knowing that, he was going to end up being in the same class. We were going to be in the same year, to find out then later that he was Bradley Cooper, just Bradley Cooper. He wasn't the famous Bradley Cooper. So to see his pictures already online and to see the trailer, like I said, knowing his work from 20 some years ago, having had scenes with him, I actually had scenes in our scene class. And I remember one of them was in front of a also very known acting teacher, Sam Schacht, who just passed. I believe it was this year. If not last year, he passed a short time ago. Bradley Cooper and I were doing a short play. I think it was Shaw, but I'm not sure. Overload, I believe it was. God, this was like a century ago. No, this is like 20 some years ago. And I remember doing that scene with him in the class, a regular classroom with the rest of the class watching. And I remember Sam Schacht at that time, the teacher, our scene study teacher, stopped us. He said, "Are you looking at each other? Are you two looking at each other?" And we're like, "Yeah," because we were kind of facing each other as we were doing the scene. So we were looking at each other, but he meant, "Are you really taking each other in?" Which, I think that was our first year or second year of the 3-year program. I don't remember. And he meant, "Are you really taking each other in? Be in the moment and not just be concerned about saying the lines or doing the scene." Because we were generally looking at each other, but we weren't taking each other in. We weren't seeing each other. And I remember he said something like, "Oh, are you looking at this woman, Bradley? Look, she's got big. Do you see that?" And I was embarrassed and I got all red. And I remember he was embarrassed. These are only my memories of that time. If anybody has different memories, then please let me know. So the reason why I came to do this episode after having not done any episode for the last 2.5 months, 3 months, I believe, is because I saw Daniel Boland. Thank you, Daniel, so much for giving me the courage to come back and attempt doing this, for bringing the story of the big nose, an exceptional actor such as Bradley Cooper decided to make a choice to physically do justice to an extraordinary composer, artist, conductor, Leonard Bernstein. When he should be applauded, for his involvement as an artist to do justice to who Leonard Bernstein was. He shouldn't be picked apart because he decided that he was going to enlarge his nose by a little bit. That's becoming the story. That's becoming the story. When the story should be bravo, 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 Bradley Cooper. We trust you to have made the right choice because we have seen other movies that you have done. and you would never do something that's out of disrespect for any people, for anybody. He's doing it the same way that he's done it for the last 20 some years in Hollywood, with all of the movies that he's done and he's worked on. And by the way, I know I mentioned this, the same Bradley Cooper, for many years after he became famous, he was still using our first year teacher from the Actor Studio MFA program as his private acting coach on all of his projects until she, unfortunately, sadly, passed away a few years ago. So Bradley Cooper is an ongoing student of acting. He's ongoingly learning how to be better, how to do better as a human being, to understand, to play characters in a complex, detailed, specific way. The characters all deserved to be portrayed, being they are real characters such as Leonard Bernstein in this movie, Maestro, being that they're fictional in some of the other films that we have seen Bradley Cooper do with brilliance. I want to also thank you guys for the support you show for my channel. See, even now, trying to ask you guys to subscribe or to share, it's so not important in comparison to the real situations and the real dealings that we have as humans to go through in our life. I'm still having this inner conflict of, should I be saying this? Should I not be saying that? I feel like I have to regain my self in a way that I was more sure, but maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should be not as sure as I used to be before. I feel like when I'm watching my latest videos that I've done, I was so sure and so full of this should be done this way and this should be done that way. And I think I'm just a little bit more humble now after the experience that I've had with my father this summer. What can I do now to link this to acting? I think the most important for me right now is to try to see how I can learn from everything that life throws my way and apply it in my future, whatever that future is going to be, because right now I'm still having a very difficult time trying to make choices about what exactly is important for me to do, being in a moment to moment work. And the most important is to be present, and the most important is to memorize the lines and do the script analysis work of what you're interpreting and the character you're working on, and then let it go, which is another life lesson also. It's not just in acting. As you know, I believe that acting teaches you, helps you live life, and helps you deal with life a little bit more. It gives you more tools to deal with life. And I think that that reminder for me is what's happening right now. Forget what am I supposed to do? Forget what pleases other people. Forget that I'm supposed to teach a class. I'm supposed to teach 2 classes in New York, or I'm supposed to be doing this in New York because that's where my life is. In a mindset and emotional, psychological mindset right now where I know I'm using feel a lot, but there is a lot of feelings that I'm dealing with. I feel that I should just take and make bold choices and not depend so much on trying to make people like me. forget trying to make people say that I'm a decent human being, not to say that I'm going to be unkind, or not to say that it's okay to do something wrong to other people. That's not what I'm saying. But I think I have to let go of the expectations of what I think others have of me. I think we all do. We spend so much time on having those thoughts. And when we really think about it, what others think, or what we think that others think of us, or the time that we think that others give to what they think of us, doesn't even happen. They have enough to worry about their own problems and their own life happening while they're trying so hard to make their own plans, the same way that I did in the beginning of summer. Bradley Cooper, going back to Bradley Cooper, I do know that he's going to be nominated for an Oscar. I know I said that. I cannot wait for the movie. I am so glad that he was the one to be able to do this project. And there's an amazing interview that he did on Stephen Colbert, where he talks a little bit about the fact that he went to the MFA program at the Actor Studio, which is where we went to. And he talks about the fact that he always wanted to be a conductor. He always wanted to play with being a conductor. And there's a great interview that he does on Stephen Colbert, and he talks about how when he was doing the coloring for A Star is Born, the movie he did with Lady Gaga, which on that movie, our first year teacher, Elizabeth Camp, helped him, working with him as a private coach with him and with the rest of the cast on that film. I know this from other members of the Actor Studio who happen to have been there during the work that they did on A Star is Born. Even Lady Gaga talks about, understanding method acting. I think she did understand that mostly from Bradley Cooper. That's only my impression. He talks about how the whole directing of Maestro happened when Steven Spielberg, I believe is one of the producers on Maestro right now, was watching A Star is Born. Bradley was showing it to him, and he reveals how there was a moment when this important scene in A Star is Born is happening, and Steven Spielberg gets up, and all of a sudden, as all of us, doesn't matter what level of success you're at, you're still going to be with complexes and insecurities. Bradley thinks, oh my God, he's getting up because he's not liking it. He got up. Spielberg came around and he was by Bradley's ear and he said, you are directing Maestro. Directing Maestro. You are going to direct Maestro. That's a beautiful interview where he describes all of it. How this whole concept of him directing Maestro and now he's starring in it. I'm so excited to see this movie. I think it's going to be the movie of that year, of the year. So it's coming in a few months. So it's going to be the movie of the year. I just know it is. There's so many little details that you can see in the trailer that you already know, because I know the work, because we've learned the same work, method work of the Actor Studio. I see already the specifics that he used. I can't wait to talk about when the movie comes out. So you can even, make a bet if you want. Carey Mulligan is also in these clips in the trailer. I think she's also fantastic because I think when you're working with actors such as Bradley Cooper, and not to say individually she's not a great actress, she is, but when people are working with already great actors, they just feed off of each other. Their work becomes elevated. One helps the other. One challenges the other, and the other challenges the other back, instead of just being there and being polite and giving the other person what they need. You have to challenge each other to be able to raise to the occasion of what the other character is needing. Overcome your own obstacles, overcome obstacles of the overall scenario storytelling. I think the more that we have experiences in life and we can no matter how difficult, embrace them and not give up, but try to rise to the occasion of meeting them. We will all discover the strength that we don't know we have until we are put into those situations. Those build-ups of those strengths that we keep discovering will not necessarily push away the fear that we have, but will help us build confidence in helping us decide what is important and rethink what priorities we have in life, because life is so short. Anything can happen from moment to moment. Thank you again, Daniel Boland, for inspiring me as you do when watching all of your videos. I think you're funny. I think you're smart, unapologetically brilliant. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you all enjoy the rest of the summer. Please leave comments. Tell me how your summer's been. I thank you. Kisses. Mwah.